Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nio Merrick. I am the Manager for Business Growth in the north of Auckland, which means that every business between the bridge and Tahana and out to Hobsonville, I am personally responsible for their success. Now, clearly it doesn't mean that, does it? But what we do have is a range of programs to assist businesses in this area grow, and today's seminar is very briefly to say what sort of help is there out there. Now, I do wish to be specific. I'm talking about free and low-cost help, not all the help that is out there. Specific disclaimer, I'm not going to be recommending business advisors, professional training, consultants, accountants, lawyers. That type of help is always out there and they all advertise themselves, and it's not hard to know where to go if you want to find a lawyer or a consultant. The hard thing to know is what you can do if you're running a business and you want a bit of help but you haven't got very deep pockets right now. So that's what we want to look at this afternoon. We meet between 500 and 2,000 clients a year. About half of them come in and go, there is no help out there. I can't find anyone who will help me free or low cost. What's out there? Tell me what programs are available. The other half come in and they go, oh my God, there's so many places to go. Which one do I go to? There's EMAs and MEAs and business associations and ATEEDs and banks and so much help. I mean, there's just way too much information. Can you disseminate it for me and tell me what's clean and relevant for my business? So today's seminar is to say, yes, there is help available, and which help should we be looking at? I should say, this isn't a monologue. So if I put something up there and you think, hey, what's that all about? Just speak out and say something right there, and then it's much easier than talking at the end, isn't it? Okay. So I'm going to get kicked out. Don't want to get kicked out by Janine. That would be a bad look, wouldn't it? I'd like to also introduce Janine Brinston. She's responsible for today's Business Expo from the North Harbour Business Association. I can say that, can't I?
You can.
And Janine and I work very closely together, and she's given me the ability to present what's free and low cost on behalf of both of our associations, but she's here to make sure I get it right. Hasn't just left me to it. So, to look at what help is available for your business right now, the first thing that I recommend you do is look at the stage that your business is at. Because as your business moves through different stages, the help that you require and the help that's available will change. So to start with, if you're in the startup phase, you've got a very early business, there's a program called Starting Off Right. It's free of charge. You can have been running for up to 9-10 months and still get benefit from that program. It's a 3-stage program. There's an online diagnostic form that asks you a bunch of questions and then sends you a 20-page report, again, all free of charge, that answers 3 key questions. Am I the right person to be in business? Is my business idea a good one? And do I have the right business structure around me to ensure success in the long term? The second stage is a half-day workshop with a very experienced, very dynamic facilitator named Sandra, who's been doing it for 9 years. Talks about what you need to know when you start up a business. The company's office comes in, they talk about tax, they talk about marketing, they talk about sales, they talk about structure, they talk about governance, they talk about everything that a business needs to know. Just enough to make sure you're asking the right questions. It's not designed to answer every question you'll ever have. But as a result of that, you will form a network of other companies who are in a similar stage to you. And you'll notice I'm going to hammer networking, but it's up here, just going to get to it shortly. But that startup network is incredibly valuable because a lot of businesses in the startup phase go through similar things, and you can support and help each other through that. The third stage of the program is a marketing template and a business template, which we provide you online. Often businesses come to us in the startup phase and go, look, I've got this really good business idea. Been running for 2 months, but I haven't really started yet. That's a very common expression. You know, I've been up in the market for 2 months, and I really need to go to the bank and get some information and get some money to make some big changes and get some marketing going on. And we say, great, go on the Starting Off Right program. At the end of it, you'll know what you're going to write in your marketing plan and in your business plan so that you can go to the bank and you can take them your 20-page report. And the first thing they will do when they meet with you is say, wow, these people prepared. And that's a major step for startup companies. So startup, that's what you need to do. General workshops. I use the term general workshops for any workshop which is generically beneficial to a company. So a workshop on sales, a workshop on marketing, a workshop on social media, a workshop on web design, things that every company can use. I'm going to talk about specific workshops later on. But the general workshops, if you're in startup mode and there are low-cost workshops going, go on all of them. That would be my advice. For the 2 or 3 hours you spend, you will walk away with information that may save you hundreds or thousands of dollars in the first 2 to 3 years of your business. And the big thing as a startup, particularly in New Zealand, is networking. I've lived in 17 countries. This country is the most, it's not what you know, it's who you know, of any country I've ever lived in. Everything here is done on connections and contacts. If you're out there networking, you're building connections and contacts. You're picking up customers, but you're also picking up suppliers. And you need to open your mind when you network that it's not just me collecting 10 customers, because I might end up being a customer for somebody else. Every customer that you have and every supplier you have is also a referrer. And can mention, and I've noticed a lot of it going on down there just now, where it's going, do you know anyone who does this? Yes, I know this guy who does this. Actually, he's on stall 43. So it is all about connections, and the more people you know, the more connections you will make. So if you're not in the startup phase, I apologise, and I'll now move on. Supposing your company is in the striving to survive or not flourishing phase. You've been going for longer than 9 months, but the business hasn't yet started providing you with a bachelor boat and a BMW. That's not uncommon either. And we see a lot of companies in this particular stage. And it is a stage because it's between startup and success. And we're heading this way towards the success line. In fact, for you, we're heading that way towards the success line, left to right. For this, we have a program called Business Mentors New Zealand. It is a program where there are, in the north of Auckland, 396 at the last count, experienced, capable business people, successful business people, who will give up their time to help you in your business for no reason in the world other than that they care. Yes! Oh, a question!
Why?
Why? For no reason at all other than that they care. New Zealand's not only the place in the world where it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's also one of the countries that I've found has the biggest altruism. We call it the altruism organ. I'm sorry, it's a terrible term. Has a really big apathy organ, but it also has a really big altruism organ. So people want to give back. They want to go and say, I want New Zealand to be successful. To do that, I will give my time to other people for absolutely no reason other than the fact that I feel good about it. And it is a hugely rewarding job becoming a business mentor. I know I am a business mentor, but I also get a lot of feedback from the people who are. They deal with companies in this mode. This is what we call the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff. We're not thriving. We're just really desperate for some help to get us to where we can start to thrive again. Business Mentors, great program for that. Also, general workshops. Go on all of them. Perhaps you'll learn something in a workshop that will help you get from the struggling or striving to survive to the surviving mode. Equally, networking. Again, if you're not networking, you're really not getting your message out there. Supposing you're not in the striving to survive, you're in the surviving phase. You're probably on your way to your batch boat or BMW, but you haven't yet passed the hump of complete comfort and success, or, and we see this a lot, you're comfortable where you are. My business is doing well enough for me right now. I don't want to put in another 20 hours a week. I don't want to put in another $30,000. I'm quite happy with what I'm putting in and what I'm getting out. There are things we can do to help you stay where you are. One of those is general workshops. One of those is networking. Another may also be a business mentor, but a business mentor will ask you for a goal. So if your goal is to increase by 10% over the next 2 years, that's still a goal. If your goal is to keep doing what you're doing, then I would suggest that you keep doing what you're doing. And that is a valid stage of business. You will always pass through all of these stages. Unless you're one of the Bill Gates of the world who's never satisfied, most people will get to a stage where they think, you know what, I'm doing okay. I'm getting up, I'm working, I've got money coming in, my customers are happy, I'm doing okay. And at some stage you'll go, no, I want more. When you move into that phase, you're moving to thriving and growing. Now these are numeric phases, and I conclude that they may not fit any other phases you will see, and they cross over slightly. Thriving and growing is for companies who've gone, I'm okay, I'm doing really well, I want to do better. There's more out there. My batch isn't big enough, my boat isn't big enough, boats are never big enough anyway, and my BMW is not an M5, so I need to just keep upgrading that doing better. These are target companies for us and what we do specifically. These are the companies who are going, give me more, push, push, push. So, programs that are available for these companies in this stage. Often to get to where you want to go, you will need to look at where you are, where you want to be, and create an action plan to get you from one point to the other. We do an awful lot of that, and we find out that in the action plans, one of the common things that arises is business capability or internal skills. Business capability is a government term, internal skills is a business term. your internal skills. You might find that you don't have quite the leadership skill you need to take your 10 people with you. You might find that you don't have enough marketing expertise to get you to where you want to go. Yes, you can hire a marketing consultant, but if you want to build your own skills, this is where we come in. You may find that your finance numbers have been okay to get you where you are up till now, but to get to the next stage you need to rebuild your finance ability and start to understand more so that you can perhaps float your company or play. And I mean play with money so that it starts to work for you. Okay? So if you need internal skills, there is a program available to you called the Business Assistance Program, where we will write you an action plan with you from where you are to where you want to go, and we will fund 50% of whatever skills development you need, if you qualify, in that period. Okay? Another program for these companies is the Business Excellence Awards. The awards this year is based on Baldrige criteria, which is an international criteria. Now, if you went to a business consultant, a professional consultant, and you said, please assess my business based on Baldrige compared with international best practice, they'd say, ooh, yes, certainly. It's going to cost you $3,000, and I'll write a report at the end with some feedback. We are saying to you, if you enter the awards, you assess your business based on Baldrige international criteria, and you will receive professional feedback from a trained evaluator, free of charge. How much does it cost to enter the awards? Nothing but time and effort. If you're prepared to put the time and effort in, we'll assess your business based on Baldrige for you, free of charge. Okay? And if you are a thriving and growing company, you probably also have a good story to tell. You maybe don't know what you would do particularly well. You're maybe working in and not on your business, all those little cliches. This is the place to find out what your business is doing and what it's not doing too, so you can plan a path for your future growth. If you're doing any research and development, is anybody here doing research and development to improve products? Yep. Oh, great. So I've got the cameraman on my side at this point. So if you're doing research and development, and your research and development can lead to a product that is either exportable or will prevent imports, it's often something people forget. If you can prevent imports, that's as good as export. There is a program, and if you qualify, ATEED will supply 50% of your R&D funding up to a certain amount, which is probably about $30,000 or $100,000. So up to that amount, they will provide 50-50 funding so that you can take your business to the next level. Business mentors love thriving and growing companies. Yes, they will help the companies who are struggling to survive. They really will. But they will take companies who are thriving and will work with them to get to where they need to go. And they do that free of charge. And these are the ones we give the business mentors who've been really good to us, and they've handled all the other ones. So this is where you start to get some of your real returns as a business mentor. And surprise, surprise, networking. Got to do some networking. Okay, what if you are...
How are you funded?
How are we funded?
Yeah.
Well, I can't answer for NHBA, but I'm sure Janine can. We are funded partly by Auckland Council, partly by central government, the Ministry of Science and Innovation, partly by New Zealand Trade and Enterprise, and partly by private companies. And we sell tickets to some of our events, which also helps fund us. Okay, so we're completely not-for-profit, and we're non-biased. We don't align ourselves with anything or anyone. We do what is best for the business that comes to see us at the time the business comes to see us. That answer your question?
Yes.
The non-biased bit's what I needed to get to, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What if your business is innovating, creating and investing? What if you're looking to take your business perhaps to float it or to get an angel investor or something like that? Another area where we work with target businesses. The Dominoes program is a program that takes you through how to value your business, how to pitch your business to investors. So it's a series of steps that will take your business through. You do need to be at a stage where you're ready to go to that phase. So you probably need to have been through some of the other stages, but that's a program we can do. Dominoes program is very low cost. It's not free, but it's low cost. We do have relationships with angel investors, and we work with the Angel Investment Association of New Zealand, and we can put you in contact with them. Nice to see you. Again, the R&D funding, particularly for these companies, it's where we give a lot of our R&D funding. Business mentors, internal skills, awards and networking. So you can see that some of our programs are crossing quite a range of business stages. But these businesses, these are the innovating, aspiring to grow, aspirational businesses who really want to make a difference. They are our target market for a lot of the funding that we give out. We talked about networking. I want to talk about networking in a little bit more detail. So there's two types of networking. One type is what I call purposeful or structured networking, where you go to a network such as the Business Excellence Network, which is a breakfast that runs every second month. There we hear from a CEO from a major New Zealand organisation. So we've heard from Vodafone, Fonterra, Air New Zealand, Brand Restaurants, all the big companies that are very successful, 3M, Telstra Clear, Telecom, can't remember them all. It's been 5 years it's been running. Purpose of that is you sit next to other owners of businesses and you listen to somebody who is inspirational in that they have achieved much with very little. We had Sir Ralph Norris on Wednesday last week, inspirational speaker. It's very structured. You go along, you chat for maybe 40 minutes, you eat breakfast, you listen to a speaker, you leave. The purpose of going to that is twofold. One is to make sure that you're picking up any tips you can to keep you inspired and motivated, because it's very easy to become demotivated if you stay inside your own bubble. And two is to sit and rub shoulders with some of the big business owners that are around the place. But it's structured. The next one is the North Harbour Business Association Breakfast Series, and I would not presume to speak about that when Janine is sitting in the room. So Janine, tell us about that one.
Very similar to the Business Excellence Network, concentrated on local businesses and members of the Business Association coming together on about 10 times a year, and again having invited speakers. Opportunity to network fast and then listen to a 20-minute presentation. And again, like top-notch speakers. We've got Sir Ken Stevens coming in end of June, and we've had Fife and Sir Ken Lester Levy. So really good, inspiring.
Great speaker. Lester Levy's an inspiration in and of himself.
Fantastic.
So again,
challenging
just
the way that you approach, your work.
And neither of those are limited to a certain amount of people in a given industry?
No, not at all. The Business Excellence Network has about 200 people at it. The limiter for the Business Excellence Network is price. It's $65 for a ticket. That keeps most of the small players out. And the money is donated to charity.
North Harbour Business is free for members. One free person per member, $35 for guests.
So isn't a guest has to come in someone who's a member?
No, absolutely.
No, because I went. Yeah, heard Len Brown speak. It was great. The Effective Network is a new network. It's free of charge, and it's designed to connect businesses who have previously been reasonably ignored, for want of a better word, which are businesses we're working with, a lot of them slightly north of Albany. So anyone in the Orewa area right up through to Tahana, we're running a network just for those businesses. There are an awful lot of businesses from Devonport, Takapuna and Albany who come up to that network, partly because it's free and partly because Silverdale is one of the fastest growing business areas in New Zealand. So if you want to be growing your business and you're stymied with a lot of competition in this small space, expand your markets and head a little bit north. The next one of those is on the 24th of this month at Tahana, and as I say, those are free of charge, so no reason not to go to those. Business Owners Forum is a network that's run at the BNZ Partners building. It's free of charge. It's for business owners who listen to a panel of speakers, and we have 3 speakers on each subject. So recently we talked about advisory boards. We had a person who sits on advisory boards. We had a business who has an advisory board, and we had a lawyer talking about what legal obligations both people who sit on and people who have advisory boards have. It's 10 minutes from each speaker and then about an hour of questions from the crowd. So people come along with real live issues and they discuss them in an open forum. Then we have pizza and beer, so it's all good. It's a great little network. And that one's held every second month. The next one's on the 21st of June. BNI is big in this area. It's not something that either of us run, but I've put it in there because it is structured networking. It's very specific. It's very driven. When you go to BNI, you are required to bring leads for the other members of BNI. So it's a great place to be if you want to get leads, but if you're a member, you must be prepared to put the effort in. And Toastmasters, again, skills driven. One of those is there's Toastmasters right downstairs. I can't recommend Toastmasters strongly enough because every time you speak with someone, you use your speaking skills, whether you're one-on-one or in front of a group. And Toastmasters is a great way to meet other people who are struggling to succeed or who are brilliant and inspirational.
And North Harbour Business Association is running a speechcraft course. It's a 6-week course subsidised by North Harbour Business.
Through Toastmasters,
Through
yeah.
Toastmasters.
Definitely worth doing. Other network is just about making connections. And connections and engagements are really important. So don't let me say it's only about connections, but it's not structured. So business after 5s, you go along, you chat with everybody, you have a drink, you meet a few people, you leave. Unstructured but valuable. The awards is a networking process. We've just run a launch in Albany with 226 people. We ran one in Orewa with 130 people. All of those are businesses. They're all businesses who are doing well. They're all great people to be interacting with. We run speed networking. Speed networking is just about making connections. You've heard of speed dating? This one's slightly less pressure. We sit 19 businesses, and you will meet with each of those 19 businesses, and for 90 seconds you will tell them about you, and for 90 seconds they will tell you about them. We have phenomenal feedback from it because everybody meets everybody, and we also hear everybody say they're exhausted. It's 9 o'clock and I need to go back home and go to bed. But very successful for smaller businesses to find out who's out there. And again, we've had businesses form alliances and go into business together. We've had people pick up customers. We've had people form supplier relationships. Hugely valuable for connections. And I think the next one of those is coming up in July. I'm not quite sure. The Chamber of Commerce has changing tables. They're officially a competitor to ATEED, but as far as I'm concerned, all networking is good. Changing tables is a different form of speed networking. You speak to 6 people at a time, and then you change and somebody else speaks to those same 6 people. We have some people say that that works for them. We have some people say that the one-on-one eye-to-eye works for them. The reason I would recommend either of those is that when you've given your marketing message about what you do 19 times, and no one has fallen asleep for the last 4, you'll know you're getting it right. So you do go and you say, this is what I do, this is what I do, this is what, oh, he didn't really listen, she didn't really listen, okay, maybe I'll change it. This is what I do. And you'll keep changing your message until you get it right. And for $49 including breakfast, what a great way to fix your marketing message, as far as I'm concerned. And then there's just general networking, which happens everywhere all the time. Don't be under the illusion that networking is something you go to. Networking is something you do no matter where you are or who you are there with. And I can see our photographer nodding because he's clearly given out his business cards to everybody who's come in today and said, by the way, when you need a videographer, here I am. And that is very much true. So what are your options? What I've done now is I've gone, hey, there was no help available, and then there was heaps, and now I've just given you heaps, and you're going, great, now how do I get hold of all of that, right?
Yes.
So, exactly. So your best option is to call someone who can advise you, and there are 2 people in this room, 2 organisations in this room who can advise you. The beauty of our organisations is where NHBA stops and ATEED starts, there is an overlap, and I'll cover the overlap. We will both guide you to the right place, no matter who you call. So it's not about who you have to call, just call one of us and we will give you some advice. NHBA's focus is on advocacy. It's on the core infrastructures of crime and traffic. The reason that there is very, very low crime in the Albany area is because of NHBA's existence, and that's why they came to be. And it used to be quite high. It's now record low for New Zealand.
Yeah, exactly. Crime prevention is our big message.
So that's a big
and
message.
Transport management.
They also work very closely with Auckland Transport to help us with the traffic issues around the area. And connectivity and engagement, where they do their networking and after fives and business breakfasts and business lunches, and soon to be a general workshops program coming as well. ATEED's focus is on building capability and expertise, research and development funding, business excellence of all forms, sector development. So if you're in the food and manufacturers, then we need to talk with you about how to work in that sector. If you're in ICT, we have programs for each sector. Investment, so if you're looking for pitching your business to the bank or an angel investor, business mentors, starting off right, and connectivity and engagement. So you can see the overlap is pretty clear here. We're all in the networking game. The big rule with networking is do it. Do lots of it, do as much of it as you can, and decide what works for you. If structured speed networking is the best thing for you, go to it. You'll never know if you don't. If generic after fives are best what works for you, then go to that. But whatever you do, go to networking. How do you get hold of us? Right here. Nice and easy. Phone number's up there. I've also got some brochures here on the awards because I can't let anybody leave without having an awards brochure.
I've got some downstairs on stand as
Such a
well.
cool program. So there we go. There you go.
Thank you.
I can't imagine why anyone wouldn't. Sorry about that, I'm really close to your camera. Enter the awards. I cannot imagine why anybody wouldn't do that, given that it's free of
I'm going
charge.
to steal your thunder and pass these out.
Absolutely, I know. Let's stealing my thunder. We're sharing the thunder here, Janine.
It's got contact on it. Talks about us.
Great.
There you go.
So, I've run through quite a few options. Are there any questions? Apart from where do you get your funding, which is a great question, by the way. Excellent question.
Where is all this information on your website in terms of workshops and things like that? How do you access that?
Absolutely. Well, I can give you the workshop brochure too if you'd like that. I can do that one too. Yeah, a little sexy workshops brochure. Yep, absolutely. And my business cards here as well if you'd like that. Turn that thing off on close. Oh, sorry, I didn't bring quite enough. I think the big message from me and from Janine today is that help is available in this area in abundance, and a lot of businesses don't know what help is available.
Yeah, we didn't.
Great. Really happy for you to tell other people that there is help available, and just tell them to call us. You know, that's the easiest way. Once they give us a call, we go, yeah.
Yeah. There's absolutely no competition between ATEED and North Harbour Business.
God, no.
We were North Harbour Business, as Naya was saying, was primarily formed for crime prevention and traffic management issues, the core infrastructure of business, because you can have the best business in the world, but if your suppliers can't get to it and your staff can't be attracted or retained, because parking, that's really important. But we have identified a need in the marketplace. Obviously, the Expo is one aspect of connectivity and networking and business development. But we need to support you in some of the elements that ATEED are not able to because of their change in focus. Like some of the business capabilities and some of the basic skill programs. So
sales workshops, marketing workshops, social media workshops, that's an NHBA thing. More specific workshops around global expertise and exporting and ideas to market, that's our thing. But we know the differentiation. We'll direct you. Yeah.
Talk to one of us.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And congratulations for being here today. That's the first part of your networking.
Yeah,
and
that's
the
really
most of
great.
that. So.
And this has been...
Thank you, Mr. Video Man.
Thank you, Naya.